Hey, my name is Tyler Tiede. I'm a disc golfer in the Rochester area, and this is my 2022 In The Bag. So I'll start off with my putters. I currently keep 6 of them in my bag. One of them is a new addition this season. Two of my approach putters. These are sort of my stable to understable. We have the Super Beat-In yellow KC AVR. I've been using this for about a year now. It's pretty beat, turns over pretty nice. You can either throw it totally flat or just kind of have it flip up on me and have a nice turnover for those shots that I need for it to turn over. And then we have a slightly newer Ricky stamp. I think this is just base plastic AVR. Similar feel, similar disc, just a little bit newer, a little bit less beat in, and I can throw it and expect it to finish out just a little bit, but still goes mostly flat, and I can turn it over and it will still fight out just a little bit. My other 2 approach discs are my Pigs. So recently at the end of last season I switched from the R Pro Pig to the Pro Tour Series Pigs. So right now I have 2 Ricky Wysocki Tour Series Pigs. One is a little bit more overstable, so this one's a bit more overstable. This is actually my ace disc. And this other one is a little bit more beat in, hit a bit more trees. So I'm picking this one when I want just a little bit more of a flat finish. And this one for just a bit more stability, maybe a bit of a hyzer shot. And then my putting putters are the KC Pro AVR. I have these pink and green ones right here. I like the colors. It's kind of the only reason for it. I've tried using some other stamps, some other colors and stuff, but I like these pink ones, and for whatever reason, these have pretty good grip. I like how they feel. I like the bead on them, so they're pretty consistent for me. So next up are my mid-ranges. Right now I only have 2 of them. So first is my KC Pro Rock. This is kind of beat. It's pretty consistent. It flies pretty straight. It'll have a little bit of a sort of stable finish at the end of the flight, but I can also make it turn over and hold the turnover line for a pretty good distance. So anything like 300, 350, if I just need it to sort of hold that turnover line and just keep going all the way and just have a little bit of a finish where I can trust it. This is sort of the disc I'm leaning for, especially if I need a little bit more distance and can't go for my my putter. And this one is I don't really know what this stamp is, but I saw it as a misprint and I got it. I think it's maybe a West Side disc stamp or something, but this is my my Rock 3, Champ Rock 3. These are both max weight. Just a little bit more stable. You know, we'll have a little bit more of a stable finish at the end of it. I can still kind of turn it over a little bit, but I can trust that it'll always come out nice. Not quite as stable as maybe I want it sometimes, but I'm getting used to it. So next up are my Fairway Drivers. So I'll start off with the slowest speed. This is a late addition to my bag from last year. Took it out and I put it back in at the start of this year. It is my Halo Leopard 3. I like this disc a lot because it's pretty consistent. It's not that great into wind. It's really good for wooded shots with a little bit of distance where I need it to turn over. Similar to these 2 discs. So my KC AVR, my KC Rock, and then this Leopard 3 are all kind of similar, as I like to have an understable disc where I can get it to turn over on a backhand line where I don't favor forehand, and I can get it just to finish flat and have a nice smooth finish all the way through. So these are kind of like the 3 steps. So this would be like shorter range, you know, anything from 200 to 300. This is sort of from 3 to 350, and then this is anywhere from 3 to 400 depending on what I want. Or maybe if I'm going uphill and need a little bit more speed. Next up are my Tbirds. These have been in my bag for quite a while, so I have 2 of them. This blue one right here is 172 grams. It's a little bit less stable. It's really good if I need it to just fly straight or maybe turn over a little bit but still trust that finish. I can also use it for forehand, hyzer shots where I need it to go kind of flip up and stay straight, or hyzer flips like that, or even just flex it out a little bit and have it sort of turn over and then just have a little bit of a finish. And then this one's just a bit more stable, a bit more beefy. It's max weight. It's kind of the same thing, but I just want it to go straight. It's good for maybe some longer range hyzer shots if I need it for, but generally just for throwing it straight, and it's just sort of two different stabilities. Next up are my Eagles. So these two have been in my bag the longest. This one has a cute little drawing on it by my girlfriend, and I'd say this one is a little bit less stable. This one's the most, it's like sort of like middle pack of stability, and then this one's my newest one that I just added, and this is pretty new, probably the most stable. So they're just sort of three different discs for different levels of stability I need. This could be good for a hyzer shot or something straight where I can really trust the finish. This is something where I'm generally trying to go straight, maybe have a nice S-curve. And this one is sort of straight, but maybe I want it to turn over a little bit more. They're all pretty interchangeable, and throughout the year I might favor one over the other. It just depends on which one gets beat up more or which one feels better than a certain day. Okay, so next up I'll kind of step through my distance drivers. So I'll start with my Thunderbirds. I kind of swapped between Thunderbirds and Tbird 3s for a while. So I threw this Thunderbird for a really long time. This is a 4-time Macbeth Champ Thunderbird, max weight. Took it out of my bag and threw Tbird 3s for quite a while, and now I'm going back to the Thunderbirds. They're pretty similar discs, but I just feel like the Thunderbirds are a bit more reliable for me. I like the way they feel a little bit better. It's basically just a preference. They both fly pretty similar, but I feel like I'm more reliable with the Thunderbird. So this is sort of my just straight flying one. I can use it for hyzer shots. I can use it for forehand. I can use it for distance, just straight shots. This is a super versatile disc. I can use it all the time. I know exactly what it's going to do. And then this is just my Coling Thunderbird. I pull this one out less frequently. It's just a bit more stable, a bit newer, and I can trust a little bit more on like a hyzer play. The Star Plastic is a little bit better for that ground play. I can, trust it to absorb that in the ground and stay where I want it to. Next up are just a step up in stability from that are my Firebirds. So this is the Millennium Draco, basically just a Firebird. I used to actually just have a regular Firebird, but for a while I had two Firebirds and this Draco, and I just found the Draco to be one that I gravitated more the most. It might just be that this particular run I like more. I don't really know, but I like this one. It's really good for hyzer shots, really good for straight, just flatten out and finish left, really good in the wind, super reliable, really good for the stability. And then my 2021 Sexton Firebird, similar situation, again with the Jeremy Coling Thunderbird, just better for ground play, better if I want it to really stick to where it's going, and it's a little bit less stable, so I can throw it on a straighter line occasionally and maybe even get it to turn over and flex out in like a windy condition and still trust it to finish out. Okay, next up are my Destroyers. I have 6 of them in my bag right now. So first I'll start off with the most stable are my Halo Destroyers. So these are just when I want to get a lot of distance. If I'm just looking to really push like 400 plus big flex lines, these are what I'm going for. They can be good for forehands. I tend not to use them for forehands, but they can be okay for forehands if I really want to flex them too, but I don't see myself getting in situations where I prefer that as much. So this one is my slightly more stable, and this one just a little bit less. Again, throughout the year I might favor one over the other. It's just nice to have both in the bag. They're not too different from each other, but really reliable in the wind, really will fight out no matter what you do to it and finish on that stable hyzer line, and it'll do kind of exactly what you want it to every time. Okay, next up I have my Champion Destroyer. I think this is like a 171. So most of my discs are max weight unless I say otherwise. So this one's 171. It's pretty stable, but it's a little light, so I can kind of get it to turn over on a backhand. It's not very windy, and I really want to try and push a line out there where I can get a big full flight out of it, and I feel like the wind's not going to be a factor. Sometimes I'll be going for this. Most of the time I like to use this for forehand. Just, like most people, I don't have quite as much power in my forehand, so I can trust a slightly lighter disc, but it's got that Champion plastic, so it still has that stability. I can find it. I'm going for it a little less nowadays, but I still keep it in my bag because it can be useful at times. These are my 2 max weight, just regular Star Destroyers. This is like one of my oldest Star Destroyers that I own. I probably have like 15 of them, 20 of them, but this is probably my oldest one. It's pretty beefy, it's still pretty stable. You can still rely on it. I can kind of turn it over, hyzer flip it if I need to, but it's just my reliable, slightly less stable version. And then my other one here, this is sort of a newer edition. I find this one to be a little bit less stable than this yellow one, but still really reliable. And again, with these two, very slight differences in stability, just depends on the day. My last destroyer is this pink and green Ricky destroyer. I think this is actually my oldest destroyer. This is a 167 gram, super flippy, super beat up. This is pretty much a forehand only destroyer. The only time I've ever thrown this backhand is if I'm like throwing down a hill 500 feet and I needed to turn way over and get a full flight out of it, and there's like no wind. Otherwise, this is my forehand destroyer. It's really reliable for forehand. I can kind of release it on a bit of a hyzer and it's always gonna flip up on me. I don't have to worry about trying to flex it out to get a good forehand line out of it. Super reliable, super great disc. And the last disc in my bag right now is my Champ Sidewinder. I've gone through quite a few roller discs. This was one of my first understable discs I've ever had, so it's pretty beat up. It's 170 grams. It's pretty reliable. I don't throw rollers a whole lot, but when I need to, this is the one that I tend to get to flip over the most. So this is the one I'm reaching for. I can also use it if I need like kind of a longer range forehand, like hyzer flip or something like that. Or maybe I'm stuck in a situation where I need something really understable to help me get out. Again, not reaching for this one a whole lot, but it's always good to have something like this in your bag. The mini I'm using right now is the PDGA mini that I got in the mail. I just threw this in my bag. I might use this, but if I see everyone using these, I might just switch back to my old one, which is this pink Most Fun Wins mini. I think it's cute, it's funny, and it reminds me to stay lighthearted while playing. So I always keep this in my bag, and I'll probably switch back to it, but I'm kind of afraid of losing it, so I grabbed this one. This is my current whale sack that I'm using. I like using whale sacks. I went through a bunch of different things to use for sort of hand grippiness, like birdie bags and chalk, and I ended up landing on whale sacks. I like them a lot. I think I have like 3 of them in my bag. So we got the lime one and the rainbow tie-dye. I also had a banana one, but I lost it. Found it and then lost it again, so I didn't get that back. So I like to have a lot of these because I lose them. So I always keep extra ones in my bag, because the worst thing ever is if it's 85, 90 degrees out in the middle of the summer, your hands are all sweaty and you realize you lost your whale sack 3 holes behind you, and you have nothing to fix your sweaty hands and you have to play the rest of the tournament dealing with it. Just ruins my mood, ruins my mentality. So I like to have extra ones just in case. So far, haven't had to use these, but I always hang on to them. Bug spray, because playing in the summer with bugs sucks. Got this grabber. No idea what brand it is, but there's a little attachment you can put on the end. I honestly don't think this attachment even works that great. It's kind of frustrating to pick discs up with it. It kind of just dangles, and it's really easy for it to fall off. If you're trying to get it out of water or something, it's real slippery. But it comes in handy, especially if it gets stuck up in trees or if it's in like the middle of a stream. You don't want to get all wet. Got a granola bar I forgot to take out. Pretty much always use this single water bottle right here. This is the water bottle I used in college when I played Ultimate. I don't know, just nice to keep a piece of Ultimate with me. Not really any reason for it, but I always like to bring this one with me when I play disc golf. And I got this dynamic disc towel that I bought at a tournament because my other towel ripped and I couldn't put it on my bag anymore. So I got this hanging from there. Usually I have some sunglasses in there as well. Rule book and a journal that sometimes I'll write in if I have like discs I want to use at a tournament. So I'll have some pages of like notes I have for certain tournaments. I don't really use this all that much though, but I keep it in there just in case I gotta write something down. And then I have a pen with me as well. And I think I also have a Sharpie in here somewhere, just in case I want to buy a disc, I gotta write my name on it. This bag is the Dynamic Disc Combat Commander. I won it in a raffle at a tournament. I paid $0 for it. It's much nicer than my older bag, so that's what I'm using. Oh yeah, these are the shoes I'm wearing. Super muddy. They're just Merrells. They're pretty muddy because I've been wearing them in the spring and I don't have my boots with me, so they're pretty beat up. And then, I don't know, I usually just wear like clothes like this. So yeah, that's my bag. Probably gonna stay pretty consistent throughout the year. I can't imagine adding anything or removing anything. Certain tournaments I'll switch discs up, but generally that's what I'm gonna be using for the whole year. So figured I'd put this out before the first tournament of the year. Got a big tournament coming up this weekend, so hopefully all goes well.